Hi, everyone. It's Tracy Plant, and today I am interviewing Jesse Wellman. Jesse Wellman is an animal nutritionist, and he's going to be introducing himself to us. And then I'm going to be asking him a few questions to find out about his amazing career that he has chosen to do.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tracy, for inviting me to do this. I'm happy to share my profession with our people that may be unfamiliar with the agriculture industry. Uh, like you said, I work in animal nutrition field. I'm a ruminant. My title officially is ruminant business manager, and I work for a company called Selco, and I cover states across the country from Minnesota down to Texas. I have accounts, kind of sporadic throughout. I work with feed mills, farms, nutritionists as well, and I support them
Awesome.
in day to day operations.
I love that. This is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and start asking you questions. Okay. So I do have a few questions
Sounds
for you.
good.
And, if you need to stop me or anything like that, please feel free to at any time.
No
So
problem.
my first question is, basically, what is an animal nutritionist? I mean, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had never, heard of anything like that before, and very intriguing, very interested in what that means.
Yeah. So great question. So animals are have just as high performing athletes do, have their own nutritionists figuring out a diet specifically for them to wreak performance for themselves. So in a day-to-day, a nutritionist is looking at diets, feed ingredients that are available to the farm, whether it's cows, chickens, pigs, and deciding what ingredients can fit best to help that farmer, that animal, be profitable for them moving forward. And so you're consistently changing it with forages or what would be grasses that we're feeding to certain animals. So you're always looking at it, always dealing with supply chain, as everyone knows as well. So
Sure.
that's kind of the gist of what nutrition does is really fine tune that diet for that high performing animal.
So, do you primarily work with livestock then, or are there other animals that you work with?
Nope. Yeah. So I primarily work with livestock on the dairy and beef. Have worked with a number of different animals in the past. So worked with zoos. So that's been a really unique experience. It's got me to be a lot of different places in the country. Work with people across the world. So
It's really exciting.
yep.
Um, do you ever work with, like you said, you worked with zoos? So, what kind of animals did you work with when you worked at zoos?
Yeah, we worked with the African hoof stock. So we dealt with giraffes. We've dealt with rhinos before. Uh, and work through all that. So it was unique. That's kind of an area in the animal nutrition field that really isn't studied super well. Um,
Right.
there's not a lot of them, to be
Right.
honest. So it's kind of
So there's a
tossing some
need.
things at a dartboard. Oh, there's a great need for
There's
that.
a
And it's
need for it.
only going to get larger, Tracy. As we look at conservation overall, I mean that's zoo's purpose is be conservation and really help support um, animals moving forward that may be endangered. So there's going to be more need for it, and agriculture is a big staple across the world, and so there's going to be a great need for animal nutritionists as well.
It's very exciting. Do you ever get to work with any pets?
Yes, yeah. So definitely do. That's a growing market,
Mhm.
as everyone knows, especially during COVID. That's really exploded.
Sure.
Um, and the pet side is yeah, a lot more demanding some days than the regular farm animals would be.
Sure. I believe that. Um, how long have you been doing your job for?
Oh gosh, good question. So I went to school, got my bachelor's degree, and came out in 2014. So I've been in the field since 2014, so what, 8 years now.
Good. What's the most difficult part of your job? Like, what do you think is the toughest part?
Figuring out, um, animals can't talk, right?
Right.
So figuring out what fits the best for each animal, um, and that's the toughest part is you can make a little tweak and it can have a huge impact, negative or positive for those animals. So dancing along that line to make sure we're not impacting the animal first and foremost, not impacting the farmer second. So because if the animal isn't doing good, then it's no win for anyone.
What do you think is the most rewarding part of your job?
Uh seeing healthy animals every
Sure.
day. I mean, gosh, that yeah, I love animals. I love being around them. I love helping them, and a nutritionist is helping those animals every day. Same as a veterinarian is helping them. So it's such a great experience to help the animals, and also help the farmers connect with
Sure.
farms and other agriculture industry people. So
Sure. So you work with like a lot of other people, like vets and farmers
yeah,
and owners and that kind of
yeah.
thing.
So that's something that's kind of not very well known unless you're in this industry, is that like a farm is, you have the farmer and his animals, but then there's 20 plus industry professionals working on that farm. You have the nutritionist, you have the veterinarian, you have the housing, you have the husbandry, looking over how the animals are doing. You have all these different factors and people coming onto that farm. So it's a lot of people, a lot of hands getting touched, and so you have to work with one another and cross function a lot.
Sure. Absolutely. This is amazing. What was the most difficult animal you ever worked with? Like, is there one animal where you're like, I'll never forget that animal? And it was
Yeah,
tough to work with, and why was that
yeah,
animal so tough to work with?
yeah. So, some of the zoo animals we worked with, I mean, because they're not native here, and there's not a whole lot of research on what can you do and what can't you do. So making sure, it's like giraffes would be one that was very difficult, of getting them to line up to their nutritional needs and figuring it out how we can feed them products here in the US that they're probably not accustomed to, right?
Sure, that's
And so
true.
so you're trying to figure out, okay, that's a good substitute for this, and so that, it was a lot of difficulty. We got through it though, but yeah, that took a number of months and trials and errors.
What type of animal do you like working with the best? Like, what's your favorite?
Yes. So for me, I was born and raised on a dairy farm, so dairy cattle,
There you go.
I love them to death. I mean, there's big teddy bears, and I love being on farms, being around farmers, being around the animals, calves. So yeah, dairy cattle would be my favorite animal.
I understand. I love them too.
Yep.
If you could change anything about your job, is what would you change about your job?
Ooh. Um, that if I could change one thing, I think almost any nutritionist would say it, is that there's no like silver bullets, like, oh yep, this is gonna work every single time on every single
Sure,
farm. And
sure.
so it'd be kind of nice to have, yep, hey, this ingredient works everywhere. You have a good response. Like, but yeah, I'd wish there's more silver bullets in the nutrition field. That'd be
Sure, that
awesome.
makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I understand that coming from
Yep.
education. Absolutely. Everybody's different. Every animal is
Yep.
different. We're all different. So
Exactly.
would you recommend your job to other people? Like if other people said, "Hey, I want to do what you do," would you recommend it to others? And if so, why?
Absolutely. Um, I mean, think it's so amazing that you can go into a grocery store, you can go to a farm store, and knowing that you're having an impact on what people are eating, what people are looking for, and knowing that you're playing a part in that, and having a good source of whatever that farm is producing for people, I think is just really really neat that you can be a part of that, um, not just for yourself but for people in your state, people in your community, but also the country. So I absolutely love it. Two, it's always changing. Technology is the forefront of our industry.
Absolutely.
So we have robotics. Robotics is taking over our industry. So there's areas for people to get into engineering. If you don't want to do nutrition, there's new construction happening because farms are getting larger, and so there's so many different opportunities that you can be involved in agriculture, not just from a nutrition standpoint, but from engineering, sales, all that stuff. So
That's awesome.
absolutely recommend it.
Absolutely. I What a great field to work in, definitely.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you would like for us to know about you or your career?
Yeah. So go out and get involved in some agriculture. I mean, we should all know where our food comes from. We should all know how animals are treated, how the farmers care for them, how they care for the land, and so get out and get on a farm, understand where the animals come from, understand how farms work, and because they're such a vital part to our infrastructure and to our well-being. So the more you can touch agriculture is really great, because at the end of the day, less than 1% of the population is involved in production agriculture.
Right.
Yep. So
Very low. I know I told my students that statistic too. I mean, it's
yeah,
a shocking statistic because it is. We should know where
shocking.
our food comes from. Absolutely, we
Yep.
should. Definitely.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. This was just
You
amazing. And
bet.
will you stay on after I stop recording? I appreciate it so much.
You bet.
So everyone, I hope you enjoyed learning about Jesse Wellman and his amazing career. So exciting about being an animal nutritionist. I look forward to talking with everybody about it. Have a great day.
Thank you.